As the year 3151 dawned, Clan Wolf, under the command of Khan Alaric Ward, began its assault on Terra. The forces of the Republic of the Sphere fought valiantly, but after Clan Jade Falcon joined the fight alongside Clan Wolf, there was little chance for a Republic victory. In April 3151, Devlin Stone surrendered and dissolved the Republic. With Terra under clan control, Khans Alaric Ward and Malvina Hazen arranged to fight a trial to determine which of their clans would rise to the position of ilClan. After a brutal and fiery battle, Alaric Ward's Clan Wolf emerged as the victors. Clan Wolf became the ilClan foretold by Nicholas Kerensky, and Alaric Ward gained the title of ilKhan. Unfortunately for him, the fighting against both the Republic of the Sphere and Clan Jade Falcon had left his forces badly depleted. In order to resupply and prepare to defend his new capital world, he needed to negotiate with Clan Seafox to acquire much-needed supplies. As one would expect with the clans, these negotiations often involved combat trials to determine the final terms. This battle is one such trial between Clans Wolf and Seafox. A star of warriors from each clan will fight in an honorable battle to determine the cost that the ilKhan must pay in order to import much-needed supplies. I'm playing the Clan Wolf star. My heaviest mech is an Orion C. This clan tech variant of Alexander Kerensky's chosen battle mech carries a Gauss rifle, a Streak LRM-15, 3 ER medium pulse lasers, and is protected by ferrolamellar armor. Next I have a Dominator. This is a new 65-ton design ordered by Khan Ward to showcase the power of Clan Wolf. It carries an ER PPC and ER large laser linked to a targeting computer and backed up by a Streak SRM-6. Jump jets and a supercharger give it great mobility for its weight class. Then my star has a Storm Wolf. This 50-ton Omni-Mech has fantastic mobility with jump jets, a supercharger, and mask. Then it is protected by reflective armor and a laser anti-missile system. For weapons, the Prime configuration carries a rotary autocannon and an ER medium laser. Next is an Ice Ferret. It is another fast Omni-Mech but with only ground movement. The D configuration carries 4 medium pulse lasers for accurate firepower and has an anti-missile system for protection. And then my 5th mech is an Adder A. It is a 35-ton Omni-Mech equipped with 2 LRM-20s, 2 small pulse lasers, and a flamer. Its biggest drawback is its relatively slow speed for a light mech that can make it vulnerable to incoming fire. My friend Jeff is playing the Clan Seafox force. He brought a Warhammer 2C8 that mounts 2 heavy large lasers, 2 plasma cannons, 2 ER medium lasers, and a Streak SRM-6 on an 80-ton battle mech with a relatively quick 5.8 movement profile. Then he has a Summoner in the AA configuration. This 70-ton Omni-Mech has a Gauss rifle, an ER large pulse laser, an SRM-6, and jump jets. Next is an Ebon Jaguar D. Weighing in at 65 tons, this Omni-Mech has an ER large laser, 2 Ultra Autocannon 10s, and a pair of ER medium lasers. Then he has a Mad Dog. The T configuration pushes the idea of the Mad Dog as a missile boat with a pair of Artemis 5 equipped LRM-20s. Then each arm has an ER large laser and an ER medium laser to provide direct firepower. His final mech is a Grendel T. The Grendel is a highly maneuverable 45-ton Omni-Mech with a 7-11-7 movement profile, and in the T configuration it is equipped with a large pulse laser, 2 improved heavy medium lasers, an SRM-6, an ER small laser, and an improved heavy small laser. As the trial starts, the Clan Seafox Warhammer 2C boldly runs onto the field of battle. The Clan Wolf Orion runs onto the battlefield near the opposite corner. The Ebon Jaguar then runs on towards the Orion. The Clan Wolf Dominator then runs on towards the Warhammer 2C but takes cover behind a hill so that there's no line of sight between the two of them. In response, the Summoner runs down the center of the battlefield, giving it a clear line of sight towards the Dominator. Then the Clan Wolf Adder runs forward into some heavy woods. The Seafox Grendel fires its jump jets and comes down in heavy woods near the Ebon Jaguar. Then the Clan Wolf Ice Ferret races onto the battlefield towards where the Grendel had landed. Then the Mad Dog runs onto the battlefield and takes position in some woods slightly behind where the Summoner has advanced to. Then the trial's final combatant, the Storm Wolf, engages its supercharger and races towards the Warhammer 2C. The Summoner issues the first challenge of the trial against the Dominator, then it fires its Gauss rifle and ER large pulse laser. The Gauss slug misses, but the large pulse laser melts away the armor on the Dominator's head. The Dominator fires back with its weapons. The Streak system fails to lock, but the ER PPC and large laser blast away enough armor to knock the Summoner off its feet. The next challenge is issued by the Storm Wolf against the Warhammer 2C. It lands 4 hits with its rotary autocannon but misses with its laser. In return, the Warhammer fires its heavy large lasers and Streak SRMs at the Storm Wolf. Both of the lasers miss, but 4 of the Streak SRMs make it past the Storm Wolf's anti-missile system. The Mad Dog issues a challenge to the Ice Ferret and fires its missiles in one of its lasers. Everything misses, though. The Ice Ferret returns fire with its pulse lasers, and half of them hit the Mad Dog, melting away armor. The Orion challenges the Ebon Jaguar and opens fire. Its Gauss rifle and lasers miss, but the Streak LRM system locks on and blasts away armor. The Ebon Jaguar returns fire with its autocannons and 2 of its lasers. Only one of the autocannon shots manages to hit the Orion, though. That left the Adder as the only opponent for the Grendel to challenge, fired its large pulse laser at it, and melted away armor from its right leg. Between the Grendel's mobility and the range, the Adder had no opportunity for return fire. Wanting to improve its odds of hitting the evasive Grendel, the Adder stays still in the woods. Then the Grendel runs forward, closing the distance with the Adder and getting to its right side. Wanting to keep some distance from the Ebon Jaguar, the Orion backs away towards the corner of the battlefield. And the Ebon Jaguar runs over the intervening hill to get as close as it can to the Orion. The Dominator runs onto a small hill to ensure that it can get a good line of sight on the Summoner no matter where it moves after standing up. The Summoner barely manages to get onto its feet and then backs away from the Dominator. The Ice Ferret runs in a wide circle around the Mad Dog, hoping to make itself a more difficult target. In order to get a more favorable line of sight at the Ice Ferret, the Mad Dog backs up the hill. Wanting to remain a difficult target, the Stormwolf jumps away from the Warhammer 2C. The Assault Mech responds by running south between 2 of the hills. The Orion opens fire on the Ebon Jaguar, hitting with everything to blast away armor across the entire Ebon Jaguar's body. The Ebon Jaguar retaliates with its large laser and both of its ultra autocannons. The laser misses, but all 4 autocannon shots hit and chip away armor. The Dominator targets the Summoner again. It hits with its PPC and large laser, but this time the Summoner manages to stay on its feet. The Summoner fires back. Its Gauss rifle slams into the left torso of the Dominator, and then its pulse laser hits the head again, taking it clean off the mech. The Stormwolf fires on the Warhammer 2C, and it lands hits with both its autocannon and laser. The Warhammer fires back at it, but only manages to hit the Stormwolf with a single medium laser. The Ice Ferret fires its 4 medium pulse lasers at the Mad Dog. Only one of them hits, though, due to the partial cover. The Mad Dog unleashes on the Ice Ferret with one of its LRM-20s and both large lasers. One of the lasers miss, but the rest of the hits are enough that it knocks the Ice Ferret off its feet and onto the ground. The Mech Warrior is injured in the fall, too. With the Grendel close and relatively easy to hit, the Adder fires everything at it. Everything except the Flamer hits, blasting away nearly 1.5 tons of the Grendel's armor. Meanwhile, the Grendel targets the Light Mech with almost everything it has. The numerous hits savage the Adder and blow off its right leg. Despite injuries from an SRM hit to the head and the fall, the Mech Warrior stays conscious. Despite the loss of its leg, the Adder tries to stand back up and stay in the fight. Fails, though, falls back to the ground. And injured in the fall again, the Mech Warrior falls unconscious. With the Dominator down, the Summoner backs into the nearby stand of trees to wait for its next opponent. With the Adder down at least temporarily, the Grendel jumps over the hill away from it. The Ice Ferret pushes itself back to its feet and then runs behind the Mad Dog. In response, the Mad Dog moves forward to take cover in a stand of trees. The Stormwolf uses its supercharger and races past the Warhammer 2C. The Warhammer then circles around the small hill in pursuit. The Orion backs up the small hill behind it, and then the Ebon Jaguar runs to be at point-blank range. The Orion fires everything at the closing Ebon Jaguar. The Gauss rifle misses due to the point-blank range, but everything else hits and blasts away armor from the Sea Fox mech. The Ebon Jaguar unleashes its firepower right back at the Orion. It scores hits with 3 autocannon shots and its large laser. On the other side of the battlefield, the Stormwolf fires at the Warhammer 2C. Its autocannon burst goes wide, but its laser melts away some of its armor. The Warhammer fires back, hoping to slow down the Stormwolf with the heat from its plasma cannons. But everything misses. The Ice Ferret fires its pulse lasers at the Mad Dog, hitting with all 4 of them. The Mad Dog fires back with its medium lasers and LRMs, but it doesn't manage to hit with anything. Meanwhile, the Adder begins to stir as its Mech Warrior wakes back up. With the Adder starting to stir, the Grendel walks up behind it to finish it off. The Adder manages to reposition just enough on the ground so that one arm will be able to fire back at the Grendel. The Mad Dog turns and runs downhill in order to get itself into the cover of a heavy woods. Then the Ice Ferret walks up to the wooded peak of the hill to get a clear shot at the Mad Dog's back. The Warhammer 2C considers staying still to have a better shot at the Stormwolf, but then it decides to back away and increase the range between them. The Stormwolf engages its mass system and runs to a position where it's in a valley between two hills with partial cover from the Warhammer 2C. The Ebon Jaguar stands still facing down the Orion at point-blank range, and the Clan Wolf Orion decides to do the same. The Ebon Jaguar unleashes its weapons into the Orion standing before it. One autocannon shot misses, but everything else eats into the Orion's ferrolamellar armor. One shot breaks through and causes the Orion's Gauss rifle to explode. Case 2 minimizes the damage, but its mech warrior is still rattled by the neurofeedback. The Orion fires back with everything it has. Its Gauss rifle shot misses, but everything else hits and eats into the internals of the Ebon Jaguar, destroying its engine and causing an ammo explosion. The Mad Dog twists around to fire one of its arm's lasers at the Ice Ferret behind it. Both beams connect. The Ice Ferret fires its 4 pulse lasers at the back of the Mad Dog. 3 of them hit and melt into the Mad Dog's thin rear armor. The Warhammer 2C opens fire with its plasma cannons and medium lasers. Only one of the medium lasers manages to score a hit on the Stormwolf, though. The Stormwolf fires back with both of its guns. The medium laser hits and melts armor from the Warhammer's center torso, while the autocannon scores 4 hits. One of those even hits the head. The Grendel fires everything into the fallen Adder, leaving the light mech completely destroyed. The Adder's final flight of missiles rockets upward, blasting away chunks of armor from the Grendel's right side. Looking for a fresh opponent, the Grendel jumps towards the Orion and lands in a stand of heavy woods. Wanting the best chance to hit its target as possible, the Orion stands still. The Warhammer 2C continues to back away from the Stormwolf, this time taking cover in a light woods. The Stormwolf jumps in pursuit but tries to keep some distance to make itself a difficult target. Struggling against the Ice Ferret, the Mad Dog runs forward and through another stand of trees. The Ice Ferret continues its pursuit and runs to the peak of the hill behind the Mad Dog. The Mad Dog twists again to fire one set of its lasers towards the Ice Ferret behind it. This time only the large laser hits. The Ice Ferret opens fire. It hits with all 4 of its pulse lasers, but most of them melt armor from the Mad Dog's previously undamaged legs. Needing to cool off, the Grendel fires just its large pulse laser at the Orion. Scores a hit though and melts away some armor from the Orion's right leg. The Orion fires back with one of its ER pulse lasers and its Streak LRM-15. Neither one hits though. The Warhammer 2C fires another salvo at the Stormwolf. One of the plasma cannons and a medium laser hit, but the lighter mech's reflective armor neutralizes most of the effect. The Stormwolf shoots back, but this time fails to connect with either of its weapons. The Mad Dog runs onto a small hill right at the edge of the engagement area and then turns so that the Ice Ferret will no longer be able to get behind it. The Ice Ferret responds by running downhill into the cover of a small wood. The Grendel fires its jump jets and comes down just to the Orion's right. Not seeing any better alternatives, the Orion just stands still. The Warhammer 2C decides to try a new tactic and runs towards the center of the battlefield. The Stormwolf runs to put itself behind the Warhammer 2C, but at enough distance to be outside of short range of the heavy large lasers. The Warhammer 2C twists to fire one set of arm weapons at the Stormwolf behind it. Both weapons miss though. The Stormwolf opens fire at the Warhammer 2C's back, and scores 3 autocannon hits. Finally able to face the Ice Ferret again, the Mad Dog opens fire with the lasers from one arm and both of its LRM-20s. Only the large laser actually hits, melting a scar on the Ice Ferret's right leg. The Ice Ferret fires back with its pulse lasers. Only 2 of the shots find their target, but one eats into the Mad Dog's leg, destroying its hip and upper leg actuators. The Mad Dog manages not to tumble over despite the damage. The Grendel opens fire into the Orion's right side. Only its large pulse laser actually manages to hit though. The Orion twists around and fires everything it has left at the Grendel. 2 pulse lasers and 15 LRM score hits on the smaller mech, and it barely manages to avoid getting knocked over. With its leg actuators damaged, the Mad Dog stands still. Wanting to stay mobile, the Ice Ferret quickly runs to the Mad Dog's other side. The Warhammer 2C continues to run across the battlefield and then turns at the last minute in hopes of getting a better shot at the Stormwolf behind it. Rather than running directly behind the Warhammer 2C, the Stormwolf engages its mask and turns to the side to get behind it again. The Grendel fires its jump jets and leaps away from the Orion back into the heavy woods it had been in just moments before. The Orion considers standing still, but then walks forward to get into short range with its ER pulse lasers. After landing in the woods, the Grendel fires 2 of its lasers at the Orion. Only one of them hits, but it destroys one of the Orion's ER pulse lasers. The Orion fires back and scores a hit with 1 pulse laser. The Mad Dog fires at the circling Ice Ferret again. This time a medium laser and a flight of LRMs hit. The Ice Ferret fires back and hits with all 4 of its pulse lasers. The Warhammer 2C twists and fires 1 set of arm weapons at the Stormwolf behind it, but both miss. The Stormwolf fires at the back of the Warhammer. Its laser melts into the thin rear armor, but its rotary autocannon jams. The Mad Dog continues to stand still. The Ice Ferret runs back to its other side. The Grendel runs in circles around the Orion. The Orion turns to face it and then walks up to the peak of the hill to get a better line of sight. The Warhammer 2C runs away from the Stormwolf to take up an elevated firing position. Working to clear its jammed autocannon, the Stormwolf walks away from the Warhammer 2C. The Warhammer 2C fires both of its heavy large lasers at the Stormwolf, hoping for a lucky shot. Both beams miss, and then the Stormwolf manages to clear the jam in its rotary autocannon. The Grendel fires 2 of its lasers and its streak missiles at the Orion. All 3 weapons hit, destroying the Orion's right torso and scattering damage everywhere else. The Orion returns fire with its pulse lasers and streak LRMs. One of the lasers and all 15 missiles hammer the Grendel's left arm. The Ice Ferret fires its pulse lasers at the Mad Dog. All 4 hit and the damage is devastating. The Mad Dog loses its entire left torso and takes damage to a laser and actuator in its right arm. The Mad Dog returns fire with everything except one of its large lasers. 2 of the lasers melt away armor, and then 2 flights of LRMs devastate the Ice Ferret. Some blast into the torso and damage its engine and gyro, then a couple of missiles hit its head and knock out the Ice Ferret's mech warrior, sending it down to the ground. That strike, plus its engine damage, pushes the Mad Dog's heat far above safe levels, but its mech warrior manages to avoid both automatic shutdown and a heat-induced ammo explosion. The Ice Ferret lays unconscious while the crippled Mad Dog stands over it. The Orion backs down the hill towards the Grendel's position, but the Grendel jumps away to keep some distance between itself and the heavier mech. The Stormwolf engages its supercharger and then runs into the center of a nearby wood. And then the Warhammer 2C walks up to the woods at the top of the hill. With both of its weapons operational again, the Stormwolf opens fire on the Warhammer 2C. Both shots miss though. The Warhammer fires back with its medium lasers and plasma cannons. One of the medium lasers scores a hit. The Orion fires its 2 remaining weapons at the Grendel. Its pulse laser misses, but the streak LRMs lock on and fire. Most of them hit and destroy the Grendel's right torso. The Grendel fires back with its large pulse laser and SRMs. The laser and 4 missiles hit to blast away more of the Orion's armor. Between its jump, the heat from its weapons, and its mangled engine shielding, the Grendel goes into automatic shutdown, but its mech warrior does manage to keep it on its feet. The Ice Ferret's mech warrior has woken up, and it carefully gets back to its feet to face the Mad Dog. Battered or shut down, the Mad Dog, Orion, and Grendel all stand still. The Stormwolf considers running towards the top of a hill, but decides to jump up instead. The Warhammer 2C almost stays still, but then decides to run towards the Stormwolf. The Stormwolf fires on the Warhammer 2C as it approaches. Its rotary autocannon misses, but its laser gets a lucky shot and damages the Warhammer's cooling system and engine. The Warhammer 2C fires back, but it doesn't manage to hit the Stormwolf with anything. The Ice Ferret fires its 2 remaining pulse lasers at the Mad Dog. Both hit, one of them destroying the right torso and the Mad Dog's engine. The Mad Dog's final volley is just a large laser and an LRM-20. It's enough though and destroys the Ice Ferret's engine as well. Taking a moment to survey the battlefield while pointing his remaining weapons at the shutdown Grendel, the Wolf Commander and the Orion decides that the battle is lost. His Orion is battered and the Stormwolf's ammunition bins are seconds from being empty. He decides to hold his fire and request Hagira. The ilClan will need to pay Clan Seafox's full price for this transaction. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more from me, you can subscribe here on YouTube, at scottsgameroom.com, or on Patreon. I'd also like to thank my patrons at the supporter tier for helping to make these videos possible. Thanks Gus, Joshua, and Cogwar.